Do this now if you want to make $100,000 a year, if not more than that, and you don't have a college degree, or you have no interest in going to college, maybe even dropped out of high school. Can you actually do that? Can you make six figures without having gone to school, without having gone to university? Yes, you absolutely can. And I'm going to give you the 2 ways that you can actually pull that off. So let's just jump right into this coaching video, shall we, gentlemen? All right. You might be surprised to know that some of the richest men, some of the most successful men in the world did not go to college, right? Many of them were high school dropouts, and they still became successful. Bill Gates is one of them. Thinking of Bill Gates, he was one of the richest men in the world. Dude never went to college, right? And many more like him. So if you are tired of your 9-to-5 job, if you're tired of working a low wage, low paying job, I'm going to explain to you how you can actually increase your income and your salary by tenfold. If you're currently not making enough to pay your bills and you can't afford the nicer things, the finer things in life, and cars that you want, and live in the neighborhood you want, this is how you pull this off without going to college, right? Good for you if you are in college, great, but this is for people who don't want to go to college, or who have dropped out of college, or are thinking about dropping out of college, right? Because really, at the end of the day, the only thing that college is good for, the only degrees that college is good for, are really if you're going there to become a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer, or any profession where you're going to be required to be licensed by the state. Okay? If you need to be licensed by the state to practice whatever it is you're studying, then yes, you're going to have to go to college. There's no 2 ways around it. But if you're like me and many others out there who are just chasing those sweet dollars, don't need college, right? College will just waste your time and waste your parents' money and put you into debt for several years while you pay off that ridiculous loan. Okay? So college is just completely useless these days outside of what I had just mentioned, right? If you need to get a professional degree and you're going to be working in fields that require you to get a license from your local county or state government, can't avoid it. Other than that, if you just want to make some money, then guess what? Don't need college, don't need university, don't need to take out student loans. And here are the 2 ways you could do that. So, and I'm going to dive deep into both methods here. But the first way is you could start a business, okay? You could start a business and you can easily make up to 6 figures, if not more, if not many times more, even millions per year, right? If you start a business and it becomes successful. Although it's not for everybody, right? Starting a business is not for everybody. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. You have to have a passion for business, making money, taking risks, taking financial risks. You have to be able to handle it emotionally, right? Especially when you're down your last $500 like I was, a little over 10 years ago when I first started my business. Went through 13 business failures. I just kept going and going. I kept credit carding everything. I went into debt with American Express, like 300 grand, because I kept using my credit card to pay bills. So yeah, that kind of stuff is not for everybody, right? But that is the first way, and we'll dive more deeper into that in a second. The second way you can do it, which is the easier way if you don't want to start a business, is you can simply get a sales job. Okay, and I'm not talking about, selling electronics at Best Buy. Right? I'm talking about getting a real sales job where you're selling a product, a viable product, working for a established company, a reputable company, where people are currently in need of that product and using that product, right? So, you can't just get with any low-level company that's selling widgets and they're promising you're gonna make $500K a year if you just bust your butt, and do that. No, you have to get with a reputable company. Like the last company I worked for, the Fortune 100 company I worked for, that I've mentioned in several videos before I started my business, was AT&T. So I worked for AT&T, very reputable company. People love them, they hate them, but whatever. People need to use their service, and I was basically an advertising consultant for them. So it was my job to go around and get a lot of these professionals to re-sign contracts with them, advertising contracts that were worth pretty big money. And that was essentially my job. And there wasn't much sales involved really, because you want to, and this is what I want to go back to when it comes to getting a sales job. You want a product that sells itself. So when it came to me being an advertising consultant, and these, like I dealt with a lot of attorneys and doctors and business owners that would spend thousands of dollars in advertising. So it wasn't hard to sell them this product because we were the leader at the time, right? Especially with online advertising at that time. Now it's clearly changed. I don't know what AT&T is really relying on now, but I'm just using them as an example. The product, it's not like I had to sit there and sell them a used car, right? It was basically something they needed, something that they were essentially already knowledgeable about, that they couldn't live without, their business couldn't live without, so they had to deal with me. Now it's just a matter of the numbers. What is this worth to you, right? And really, when you get with a reputable company and you get, say you get a sales job with them, you're really just selling on the value of that product, right? Something that they need, that will make their life more convenient, that will make them more money, that will make life easier for them. And that's essentially all sales is, right? And this is why I say, if you want to make 6 figures a year, you have to get with a reputable company. And many times they're hiring often. So it's not like you have to wait to get one of these type of sales jobs. Many times they're hiring pretty often because there's a lot of churn and burn, right? It's just, again, even sales, it's not for everybody. It's for people who, want to be there. And the people I've found that fail with sales usually are people who fail to recognize that, people want to be sold. People need this product. It's going to add value to their lives. And they kind of like have this view of sales like it's dirty, or, oh, I'm taking advantage of this person. They have this kind of like win-lose mentality. Whereas what I was trained to do at like AT&T was, there's no win-lose here. It's win-win. It's like, we're offering you a valuable product in exchange for this amount of money, right? And we both win, right? Because you get the product and we get the money, right? So it's like, it's win-win. So when I started my pickup and dating business, and any business I had previously, that was my core fundamental, is I don't want to have to sit there trying to convince anybody or twist their arm to take my boot camp, to get in my 7 months of mastery, to get in any of my programs. I'll plug it. I plug it at the end of each video, but I let the product speak for itself. I let the value speak for itself. Overwhelmingly, like 99% of the guys who've gone through my programs praise it. They love it. They've learned so much from it. Many guys have gotten married because of my teachings. Many guys have had families. They're naming their kids after me. It's insane, right? So I get thousands. I have thousands of thank you letters from previous students now. But we don't force that product on anybody. I don't like this push sales. I don't like this push sale where we're pushing you to buy something. It needs to be a pull sale. So when you look for a company that is offering 6 figures or more, a lot of companies will offer that. They'll claim that you can make that much, but really it's only more established companies that realistically can pay that, right? Unless it's a startup that's popular, that that's really successful, and it's just growing and growing and growing. Different story, right? Yeah, just a quick story. It was I remember when I was working at AT&T, and I got kind of poached by this Indian entrepreneur. His name was Gurbash Shahal. He ended up being on this show called Secret Millionaire. This is in the late 2000s, but he had a company called Blue Lithium. And he was an entrepreneur, but he had a company called Blue Lithium, and he wanted me to come over there and help with advertising, sell the advertising. And he was offering pretty good money too. And that was an example a company that had just started, but he had a track record of building successful companies. I Googled him and I learned more about him, and I almost did want to leave and go work for him, but I was just happy at AT&T, and I didn't want to, at that time, I wasn't sure if I was going to leave or not, so I didn't want to risk losing that job. So I declined the offer. But funny now, then, like Gerbosh ended up like creating more companies. He became very successful. I think he's worth like a little over 300 million bucks, maybe more. And he had some issue with his girlfriend. I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago, and in San Francisco, and yeah, he had to go through this like domestic violence thing. It was crazy. It was a crazy story. But I was like, I remember I saw in the news, I was like, no, really? Are you serious? That's crazy. If he only jumped into my 7 Months to Mastery, or if he only jumped into my 33 Secrets program, he would have known better. Because I always thought that. I was like, man, what if I did go work for him and we became buddy-buddy? I could have like coached him through this where he didn't get, you know, like possessive over his girl, and all that stuff didn't go down, allegedly, right? But either way, not to get sidetracked. So you could do it with a sales job, right? Just make sure it's a reputable company that you hook up with. And also too, before you go into the interview, you want to make sure that you learn about their product, you Google it, try to learn as much as you can. So by the time you get to the interview, you can talk intelligently about that product and why it's going to add value to people's lives. And you want to do that anyway. You want to see what they're selling and look at this product and see people's reviews, why they like it, why they hate it, where it could be improved. That way, when you go into your interview, you can speak intelligently about it and go, yeah, you know, I believe in this product already. It sounds great to me. You know, there's some slight improvements maybe we could make, you know, or maybe when I come on board, or maybe we could find a different way to sell this. Because once they see your enthusiasm about it, like what you can bring to the table, then they'll be like, oh, let's get this guy on board and see if he's the real deal, right? So when it comes to these sales jobs, yes, you could definitely pull off 100,000 a year, if not more. Okay, if not more. Will you make millions? Probably not. Probably not. But you'll have a stable job, right? You'll have a somewhat stable job as long as you're selling, right? Because no job is stable, especially sales. Like, and you're not producing, they will axe you just like anybody else. And this is why there's such a high turnover when it comes to sales jobs, because a lot of people can't cut it. So, yeah. So sales job is one way you can do it, and where you can make 6 figures per year. The other way, the other avenue you could take if you want to make 6 figures, if not much, much more, is again by starting a business, right? You could, and if you don't have any business experience, this is something that, you know, you want to really start educating yourself about. I didn't have any online business experience previously before starting mine. I mean, all I had was my obviously working for like AT&T, and then I had a few businesses back in the 90s that I had started. So it was like I had limited experience. But the first thing I did was I started going to Barnes and Nobles. I remember Borders Books was still around back then. I go to the business section. I was literally reading books on how to start an online business. And that's where I started, right? And I just started educating myself, and then when I felt pretty comfortable, I started just getting out there and started creating like little websites to see if they would do anything, and then I kind of started dumping more money into ideas that I had, and then I started getting carried away, and then next thing you know, got to a point where I literally lost everything I had. It wasn't even that much long after that I started. It's like the money just went like that. So that's a problem too with like starting your own business is you know, I don't recommend it if you have a family, kids, making house payments, you know, anything like that. I wouldn't do it. Luckily, I was in a place where I didn't really have to care for anybody but myself, you know, and so I didn't really have to worry. Like if anything happened to me, I was like, okay, well, whatever, I'll just go live in my car. I mean, literally, that was my mentality. I was like, that's fine, I could go live in my car, and I'll figure it out, right? So you can make 6 figures a year, if not much more than that, by starting your own business. But like I said, it's not something that is for everybody, right? If you don't like taking financial risks, if you don't like not being able to sleep at night, if you don't like not knowing how you're going to pay your bills if something's not working, if you don't handle stress, financial stress especially, very well, I wouldn't recommend it. But it is very rewarding in many ways, right? And it's something that, once you learn, the skill set, it's a good skill to have. So, and it's, but like I said, I mean, just statistically, based off the statistics, since I point out a lot of statistics, I think it's somewhere around like only one in 10 businesses ever succeed after the first like 3 years, if that gives you any idea. So it's, it's kind of a crapshoot, and you really have to just have a passion for entrepreneurship and a passion for adding value to people's lives. Because again, that's really all it comes down to, whether it's starting your own business or getting a sales job, is you have to have passion for the product and seeing the value in that product and how it could make people's lives better, how it can help them, how it can, even change and transform their lives, right? You might be watching my content, following my stuff, getting into my programs because it's adding so much value to your life that it's worth the transaction, right? It's worth this little bit of money for all of this education, all of this enlightenment, all of this knowledge, right? So those are the two ways you can make 6 figures per year, if not more than that, right? As always, smash the like button below, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so that you're notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video here on YouTube. If you have any questions, by the way, I forgot to say that. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, right? If you're questions about getting a sales job or starting your own business, drop them in the comments below. And other guys here who are making 6 figures per year, feel free to share your experience and what you're doing and what you're not doing. Drop them in the comments below and share with the tribe. And as always, is Matt Cross from AlphaMaleSecrets. If you love my work, if you love all this red pill content I'm teaching you and all of this value I'm adding to your life, best way to support my work is to jump into my premium AlphaMaleSecrets program. Right now it's only $1 for the entire first month of premium AlphaMaleSecrets coaching lessons from me. So take advantage of it. All you need to do is click the link below in my description box. It will take you over to my website where you can get signed up right now. It just takes 2 seconds. So do that now, and I'll see you in my next coaching video.